There's someone you haven't forgiven, someone who wounded you years ago, perhaps a parent, maybe a former friend, perhaps even a spouse. You might think this grudge only hurts them, that they deserve to suffer for what they did. But Padre Pio knew the truth, and what he saw in the souls of those who held on to resentment was far more terrible than they could ever imagine. Padre Pio used to say that holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. You believe you're punishing the one who offended you, but in reality, you're destroying yourself, slowly, silently, from the inside. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what Padre Pio saw when he looked into the soul of someone who hadn't forgiven. What I'm about to reveal might shock you. It might make you angry. It might even make you cry. But one thing is certain. After this video, you'll never be able to look at your resentment the same way again. The year is 1957. We find ourselves at the confessional in San Giovanni Rotondo. A woman named Ashley has been waiting since dawn for her turn. She made the journey from Naples, a 4-hour drive on difficult roads, all to see Padre Pio. She wants to confess. She wants to receive the saint's blessing. Ashley is a devout Catholic. She attends Mass every Sunday. She prays the Rosary every night. She observes Lent. She gives to the poor. By all outward appearances, she's a pious and irreproachable woman. But there's a secret Ashley keeps buried deep within her heart, a secret she's never confessed to anyone, a secret that's been eating away at her for 15 years. When her turn finally arrives, Ashley kneels in the confessional. She begins her confession as usual. The small, everyday sins, impatience, distractions during prayer, gossiping with the neighbors. But Padre Pio interrupts her. "My daughter, you speak to me of ants when there's an elephant in your heart. Why don't you speak of your sister?" Ashley freezes. How could he possibly know? She's never spoken to him about her sister. No one knows what happened between them. "I don't know what you're talking about, Father." Padre Pio sighs. His voice softens, but his words cut like knives. "You lie. You lie to God. You lie to yourself. For 15 years, you've harbored a terrible hatred for your sister. She stole your fiancé. She married the man you loved. And since that day, you haven't spoken a word to her. You refuse to see her. You refuse to even say her name. You've told your children she's dead." Ashley begins to tremble. Tears stream down her face. She wants to flee the confessional, but something holds her back. Perhaps fear, perhaps hope. Padre Pio continues. "Do you know what I see when I look into your soul, my daughter? I see a prison where you've locked yourself away. The bars are made of your resentment. The walls are made of your hatred. And the warden of that prison is you. Every day, you choose to remain locked inside. Every day, you throw the key a little further away. And all the while, your soul is starving." "But Father," Ashley sobs, "you don't understand what she did to me. She knew I loved Michael. She knew we were going to get engaged. And she stole him from me, my own sister, my own flesh and blood." Padre Pio remains silent for a moment. When he speaks again, his voice is almost a whisper. "I understand your pain, my daughter. The betrayal of someone close is the cruelest of wounds. But let me ask you a question. In these 15 years of resentment, have you been happy? Have you found peace? Have you slept without nightmares?" Ashley shakes her head. No. For 15 years, she hasn't truly slept. Every night, she relives the image of her sister on her wedding day. Every night, she feels the same pain, as sharp as the first day. That is precisely it. Your resentment hasn't punished your sister. It has punished you for 15 years. You've been drinking the poison of hatred, hoping she would die from it. But it is you who are dying. It is you who are suffering. It is you who are losing your soul. Ashley is now weeping openly. She knows Padre Pio is right. Deep down, she's always known. But Father, how can I forgive? What she did is unforgivable. Padre Pio responds with a phrase that will change Ashley's life forever. My daughter, there is no such thing as an unforgivable sin, except the one you refuse to forgive in others. For if you do not forgive others their trespasses, neither will your heavenly Father forgive yours. It is not I who say this, it is Christ himself. Ashley falls silent. She knows this verse from the Gospel. She's heard it hundreds of times at Mass, but she's never applied it to herself, never understood that by refusing to forgive her sister, she was condemning herself. Padre Pio continues, I'm going to show you something. Close your eyes. Imagine you are standing before the judgment seat of God. Your entire life flashes before you. All your sins are revealed, the lies, the angers, the jealousies, the slanders, the impure thoughts, everything. Ashley closes her eyes. She sees her own faults flashing before her. So many, so ugly. Now imagine that God looks at you and says, I cannot forgive you. What you have done is unforgivable. How would that make you feel? Ashley feels her heart freeze over. Despair, horror, eternity without God. That is exactly what you are doing to your sister. You are refusing her the forgiveness that you yourself ask of God every day. What hypocrisy, what pride. These words strike Ashley like a punch to the gut. Hypocrisy, pride. She'd never seen her resentment in this light. She thought she was the victim. She discovers that she has become the tormentor. Father, what must I do? Padre Pio gives her 3 things to do. 3 things simple, but terribly difficult. Firstly, you're going to pray for your sister, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. You are going to kneel down, and you are going to ask God to bless her, to grant her happiness, to forgive her sins. I know these words will burn your mouth, but that is exactly why you must speak them. Secondly, you are going to write a letter to your sister. You are going to tell her that you forgive her. You don't need to tell her that what she did was right. You can tell her that you suffered, but you must tell her that you choose to forgive, that you no longer want to be a prisoner of hatred. Thirdly, and this is the most difficult, you are going to go see her in person. You are going to look her in the eyes, and you are going to tell her that you forgive her. And when you have done that, you will be free. Ashley protests. It's impossible. After 15 years of silence, how could she simply go and see her sister? Padre Pio looked at her with compassion, but firmness. My daughter, impossible is a word that does not exist in God's vocabulary. He continued, you believe forgiving is beyond your strength? You're right. It is beyond your human strength, but it is not beyond the strength of grace. Ask God to give you the strength to forgive, and He will give it to you. Then Padre Pio added something unsettling. I'm giving you 3 months to do these 3 things, no more, because I see something in your soul. If you don't forgive within 3 months, you will die with that grudge in your heart. And I'm not talking about the death of the body. I'm talking about the death of the soul. Ashley left the confessional distraught. She had received absolution, but conditional absolution. Padre Pio had made it clear. If she didn't forgive, her absolution would be null. Her sins would not truly be erased. For the next few days, Ashley struggled. Part of her wanted to forgive. Another part refused. The wound was too deep, the betrayal too great. But Padre Pio's words echoed in her head. Inner turmoil, poison, death of the soul. The first night, She tried to pray for her sister, the words caught in her throat. She couldn't. She wept in rage and frustration. The second night, she tried again. This time, a few words came out. "My God, you bless my sister." That was all she could manage, but it was a start. As the days passed, the prayer became easier. Not that the pain disappeared, but something changed in Ashley. She started to see her sister differently, no longer as a monster, but as a weak and sinful human being, like herself. 3 weeks later, Ashley wrote the letter. Her hands trembled, her tears stained the paper, but she wrote. She recounted her suffering, she recounted her years of loneliness, and at the end, she wrote those impossible words, "I forgive you." Mailing that letter was one of the hardest things she had ever done, but she did it. 2 weeks passed, no response. Ashley wondered if her sister had received the letter, if she had read it, if she even cared. Then one evening, someone knocked on her door. It was her sister, Eleanor, 15 years older, her hair now grey, her eyes swollen with tears. The two sisters looked at each other. 15 years of silence, 15 years of pain, 15 years of walls between them, and then Eleanor spoke, her voice trembling. "I'm so sorry. Ashley, not a day has gone by that I haven't thought about what I did to you, not a day without regret. I tried to write to you dozens of times, but I never had the courage to send the letters. When I received yours, I cried for hours. Do you really forgive me?" Ashley hesitated for a moment. The old pain was still there. The old anger tried to rise up, but she remembered Padre Pio's words. She remembered her own prayer. She remembered that she, too, needed forgiveness. She opened her arms, and for the first time in 15 years, the two sisters embraced. That night, Ashley slept as she hadn't slept in 15 years, a deep, peaceful sleep, without nightmares. She woke up the next morning with a strange sensation, a lightness she had forgotten, as if someone had removed a weight from her chest. She then understood what Padre Pio meant. The inner turmoil of holding a grudge had vanished. She was free. Ashley returned to see Padre Pio a few weeks later. This time, she didn't have to wait in line for hours. A monk led her directly to the saint. Padre Pio was waiting for her. "My daughter, I see that you have done what I asked of you. Your soul has changed. The prison is empty. The bars have disappeared and you are free." "Father, how did you know? How did you know about my sister?" Padre Pio smiled mysteriously. "I only looked at your soul. Everything was written there, the wound, the hate, the self-imposed confinement you had built. But I also saw something else there. I saw the possibility of forgiveness. I saw a flame, almost extinguished, but not quite dead, and I blew on that flame." Ashley wept with gratitude. "Father, without you, I would have died with that hatred in my heart." Padre Pio shook his head. "No, my daughter, without God, you would have died. I am only an instrument. It is God who gave you the grace to forgive. It is He who rekindled the flame. I only showed you the way." This story is true. It was told by Ashley herself, years later, to a priest who was collecting testimonies about Padre Pio. Ashley died in 1989, reconciled with her sister, reconciled with God, reconciled with herself. But this story is not unique, because Padre Pio met hundreds, thousands of people like Ashley, people who carried the weight of holding a grudge for years, people who had built invisible inner turmoil, people who were dying slowly from the inside without even realizing it. And each time, Padre Pio saw the same thing, a caged soul, a soul that had chosen captivity rather than freedom, a soul that preferred to suffer rather than forgive. Why? Why do we choose the inner turmoil of holding a grudge? Padre Pio explained it very simply. Holding a grudge gives us the illusion of power. When we hold a grudge against someone, we feel like we are punishing them. We feel like we are showing them that they can't hurt us with impunity. We feel like we are strong. But it's an illusion, because the person against whom we hold a grudge often continues their life without even thinking about it. They sleep well. They eat well. They laugh with their friends. While we stay awake at night, stewing in our anger, while we let the hate eat us from the inside. Padre Pio had a powerful image to describe this. He said that holding a grudge was like holding a burning coal in your hand to throw it at someone. You can wait for the perfect moment to throw it. You can imagine the satisfaction of seeing the other person burn, but all that time, it's your hand that's burning. It's you who's suffering. But there's something even deeper. Something that Padre Pio saw with his mystical eyes, something that modern science is only just beginning to understand. Holding a grudge doesn't just destroy your inner peace, it destroys your body, it destroys your health, it destroys your life. Scientific studies have shown that people who hold a grudge have a higher risk of heart disease. Their immune system is weakened, their blood pressure is higher, their life expectancy is shorter. Padre Pio didn't need scientific studies to know that. He saw it directly. He saw holding a grudge as a spiritual tumor that would eventually infect the entire body. One day, a man came to see him with chronic pain that doctors couldn't explain. Padre Pio looked at him and said immediately, "Your pain comes from your heart, not your body. You've hated your brother for 20 years. That hate has turned into physical poison." The man was stunned. How could Padre Pio know? He'd never spoken about his brother to anyone. Padre Pio told him to forgive. The man resisted. He argued. He explained why his brother didn't deserve forgiveness. Padre Pio interrupted him. "I'm not asking you if your brother deserves forgiveness. I'm asking you if you deserve peace. I'm asking you if you want to heal. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give to someone else. It's a gift you give to yourself." These words changed the man's perspective. He had always seen forgiveness as something he had to give to his brother, as if his brother had gained something, as if he himself was losing something. But Padre Pio was showing him another truth. Forgiveness frees the one who forgives, much more than the one who is forgiven. By forgiving, you're not saying that what happened was acceptable. You're simply saying that you refuse to carry that weight any longer. You're choosing freedom over inner turmoil. The man went home. He struggled for weeks, but finally, he forgave his brother. Not because his brother deserved it, but because he himself deserved peace. And his pain disappeared, not immediately, not magically, but gradually. As the poison of hatred left his body, his pain lessened and then disappeared completely. This connection between forgiveness and physical healing. Padre Pio saw it constantly. He said that many illnesses had their root in unhealed spiritual wounds. Holding a grudge, anger, bitterness, all of that could turn into physical illness if you let it fester long enough. But the forgiveness Padre Pio talks about isn't easy. It's not a pleasant feeling that suddenly washes over you. It's not forgetting what happened. It's not pretending the wound doesn't exist. Forgiveness, according to Padre Pio, is an act of will, a decision, a choice you make with your head before you feel it with your heart. You can forgive while still feeling the pain. You can forgive while remembering what happened. You can forgive while deciding not to trust that person again. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It means refusing to let what happened control your present and your future. Padre Pio often gave a practical exercise to those who struggled to forgive. He told them to pray every day for the person they couldn't forgive. Not a superficial prayer, a real prayer, asking God to bless that person, to grant them happiness, to help them in their difficulties. At first, these prayers seem hypocritical. How can you ask God to bless someone you hate? But Padre Pio knew something profound. Prayer changes the one who prays before it changes the one being prayed for. When you pray sincerely for someone, even someone who has hurt you, something changes in you. Hate can't coexist with prayer. Little by little, the anger fades, the resentment dissolves, and one day you realize you have truly forgiven. This process takes time, weeks, months, sometimes years, but it works. Padre Pio saw it work thousands of times, but Padre Pio also saw the other side. He saw those who refused to forgive until the end, and what he saw was terrible. A man named Walter came to see Padre Pio in 1962. He was 70 years old. He was dying, stomach cancer that left him only a few weeks to live. Walter wanted to confess before he died. He wanted to depart in peace with God. But when Padre Pio looked at his soul, he saw something that made him cry. "My son, you come seeking God's forgiveness, but you've refused to forgive your own son. For 40 years, how can you ask for what you're unwilling to give?" Walter's story was tragic. 40 years earlier, his only son had married a woman Walter disapproved of. Walter had given him an ultimatum: either you leave her, or you're no longer my son. The son had chosen his wife, and since that day, Walter had never spoken to him again. 40 years. 40 years without seeing his son. 40 years without knowing his grandchildren. 40 years nourishing that grudge, like feeding a hungry monster. And now, on his deathbed, Walter still refused to forgive. "Father, you don't understand. My son dishonored me. He chose that woman over his own father. He deserves my anger." Padre Pio looked at him with infinite sadness. "My son, you're going to die soon. In a few weeks, you'll be before God, and God will ask you the same thing he asks everyone. Have you forgiven? And what will you answer? That your pride was more important than your soul? That your holding a grudge was more precious than heaven?" Walter began to cry, but his tears were tears of rage, not repentance. I can't forgive him. It's beyond my strength." Padre Pio placed his hand on the old man's shoulder. "You're right. It's beyond your strength, but it's not beyond the strength of God. Ask him for the grace of forgiveness. Beg him, and he will give it to you." Walter left without confessing that day. Padre Pio couldn't give him absolution. As long as he refused to forgive, it's the law of the Church, it's the law of God. In the following days, Walter struggled. Death was approaching, and with it, the terror of meeting God, with that holding a grudge in his heart. When the son entered the room, Walter looked at him. He was no longer the 20-year-old he had cast out. He was a 60-year-old man, with grey hair and wrinkles, a man who had lived a lifetime without his father. Walter opened his mouth. The words he had never been able to say came out in a breath. "Forgive me, my son. I've been a fool. I've wasted 40 years of our lives. Forgive me." The son collapsed at his father's bedside. They wept together, 40 years of tears held back, 40 years of unspoken words. Everything came out in a matter of minutes. Walter passed away 3 days later, but he died reconciled with his son. He died in peace. He died forgiven because he had finally forgiven. Padre Pio later said that Walter had come very close to losing his soul. If the old man had waited even one more day, he might have died with that grudge in his heart, and the consequences would have been eternal. This story teaches us something vital. Don't wait until you're on your deathbed to forgive. Don't wait for illness to remind you that life is short. Forgive now, today, while you still have time. Now I want to tell you another story, a more recent story, a story that shows that Padre Pio's teachings on forgiveness are as relevant today as they were in his lifetime. A few years ago, a man named Robert came on a pilgrimage to a small town in Italy. Robert was 55 years old. He was an entrepreneur. He had achieved success in business, but he had been carrying a terrible weight for 30 years. When Robert was 25, his best friend betrayed him. They had started a company together. They were like brothers. But one day, his friend emptied the company accounts and left with all the money. Robert was left ruined, in debt, humiliated. For 30 years, Robert had been holding a grudge. He had rebuilt his life. He had achieved professional success. But every night before falling asleep, he thought about his former friend. He imagined his revenge. He wished him the worst misfortunes. His wife told him to let it go. His children told him to forgive. But Robert refused. This man deserved his hatred. This man had destroyed his life. One day, Robert learned that his former friend was dying, terminal cancer. He had only a few months to live. Robert felt something unexpected, not joy, as he would have imagined, but emptiness, despair, 30 years of hatred. And for what? His enemy was going to die, and he, Robert, would continue to live with this grudge that would serve no purpose anymore. It was in this state of mind that he came to a small town in Italy. He didn't know exactly what he was looking for. Maybe an answer, maybe a sign. In the crypt where Padre Pio's body rests, Robert knelt. For the first time in 30 years, he wept. Not tears of rage, tears of weariness, tears of exhaustion. 30 years of carrying this weight, 30 years of nurturing this hatred. And now, he was exhausted. Robert prayed, not an elaborate prayer, just a few simple words. Padre Pio, help me. I can't go on like this anymore. I'm tired of hating. Show me how to forgive. What happened next? Robert recounted with amazement. He felt a presence, a warmth, and in his heart he heard words, not with his ears, with his soul. My son, you have carried this weight long enough. It is time to put it down. Your friend took your money, but you gave him something far more precious. You gave him 30 years of your life. 30 years that you spent hating him instead of loving those around you. Now, take back what belongs to you. Take back your peace. Take back your joy. Forgive and be free. Robert doesn't know if it was really Padre Pio who was speaking to him. Maybe it was his own conscience. Maybe it was God directly, but it doesn't matter. Those words changed his life. He came out of the crypt with a decision made. He was going to forgive. Not because his former friend deserved it, not because what he had done was acceptable, but because Robert, deserved 30 years of peace to compensate for the 30 years of hatred. Robert went to see his former friend at the hospital. The man was unrecognizable, ravaged by the disease, diminished, scared. When he saw Robert, he burst into tears. He begged for forgiveness. He said that he had regretted every day of his life, that he had wanted to return the money, but had never dared to appear before Robert. Robert looked at him, this man he had hated for 30 years, this monster he had imagined in his revenge fantasies. He was just a dying old man, scared and alone. And Robert spoke the words he thought he would never be able to say. I forgive you. The former friend died a few weeks later, but he died in peace, reconciled with his former brother. And Robert? Robert returned home transformed. His wife noticed the change immediately. He was lighter, more present, more joyful. 30 years of weight had just fallen from his shoulders. Robert later said that those 30 years of holding a grudge had been the most wasted of his life. He had achieved professional success. He had a beautiful family. He had money. But he had never been truly happy. The hatred had stolen his joy. Every success was poisoned by this grudge he nurtured. Every moment of happiness was tainted by this rage he refused to let go. It was only after forgiving that Robert discovered what it really meant to live. It was only after putting down this weight that he could breathe fully. It was only after opening the door of his inner turmoil that he saw the beauty of the world around him. I'm telling this story because you may have someone like that in your life, someone you haven't forgiven for years, someone whose name alone is enough to make you angry. Maybe it's a parent who abandoned you. Maybe it's a spouse who cheated on you. Maybe it's a friend who betrayed you. Maybe it's a boss who humiliated you. Maybe it's a child who disappointed you. Whoever that person is, whatever the wound, you have a choice to make. You can continue holding a grudge. You can continue drinking the poison hoping the other person will die. You can continue living in your self-imposed confinement. Or you can forgive. You can put down the burning coal. You can open the door of your inner turmoil and walk out. The choice is yours. No one can do it for you. Not Padre Pio. Not God himself. Forgiveness is a free act, a gift you give yourself. If you are ready to make this choice, here's what I suggest. Tonight, before you sleep, take a moment of silence. Think about that person you haven't forgiven. Visualize their face. Remember what they did to you. And then speak these words, not just with your lips or with your heart. I choose to forgive you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. I'm setting this weight down. I'm walking out of this inner turmoil. I'm choosing freedom. You might not feel forgiveness immediately. The pain might still be there. The anger might come back. That's normal. Forgiveness isn't a one-time event. It's a process. You might have to repeat this choice dozens of times before you truly feel it. But every time you choose to forgive, you weaken the bars of your self-imposed confinement. Each time, you drop a little bit of that burning coal. Each time, you get closer to freedom. Padre Pio is watching you from heaven right now. He sees your heart. He sees you holding a grudge. He sees your inner turmoil. And he's telling you the same thing he told everyone who came to see him. Forgiveness isn't an option. It's a necessity. Without forgiveness, there is no peace. Without forgiveness, there is no healing. Without forgiveness, there is no salvation. If this video has touched your heart, if you feel that Padre Pio is speaking to you through these words, then do something to mark this moment. Click on that golden heart below. The super thanks. It's not a donation for me. It's a commitment to yourself. It's you saying, today I choose to forgive. Today I choose freedom. Each super thanks is a prayer. Each super thanks tells God that you're ready to set down your burden, that you're ready to walk out of your inner turmoil. And now, in the comments, do something brave. Write the initials of the person you need to forgive, just the initials, and say, I choose to forgive you. This simple act, writing those initials, speaking those words, is the first step towards freedom. Do it now, while your heart is open, while Padre Pio intercedes for you. May Padre Pio grant you the grace of forgiveness. May the Virgin Mary soften your wounded heart, and may God free you from all grudges, from all bitterness, from all hatred. Tonight, when you close your eyes, imagine you're setting down a heavy weight that you've carried for years. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your heart lighten. Feel the peace wash over you. And say these words one last time. I forgive. I am free. Padre Pio is interceding for you at this moment. He is praying that you find the strength to forgive. He is praying that you choose freedom rather than your inner turmoil. He is praying that your heart will be healed.